Close your eyes for a second. It is 3 p.m. on a weekday, sometime in the 90s. The bell just rang, and the entire afternoon belongs to you. No phone, no text saying where to be, no adult watching. For a few golden hours, you were completely free and completely on your own, and you did not even know how rare that would turn out to be. This is not a list of things. This is the afternoon that raised you. 15 of them. See how many were you, and by the end, I promise you are going to want to tag the one friend who was right there with you. It started with the walk home and a house key on a shoelace around your neck, tucked under your shirt. You let yourself into an empty house, and here is the thing nobody told us. You were part of a whole generation of it. They call us latchkey kids, and by some estimates, around 40% of Gen X came home to a house with nobody in it. You were 8, maybe 9, and you were in charge of yourself. Did you have the key on the shoelace? Be honest. And then that first moment inside, the specific silence of an empty house, the hum of the fridge, the dust in a beam of afternoon light, the sound of your own backpack hitting the floor. For the next 2 hours, you were the boss of that entire house. Your rules, your snacks, your shows. It was a little bit lonely and a little bit like being king, and every 90s kid knows that exact quiet. You can hear it right now, can't you? First order of business as ruler of the empty house, the snack. And you did not make a normal snack. You made a creation, cereal eaten dry by the fistful, sugar on buttered bread, cheese melted in the microwave until it was a weapon. Some unholy combination only you knew the recipe for. No one was watching, so the kitchen was yours, and whatever you invented at 3:15 tasted better than anything a restaurant has served you since. What was your specific after-school snack? Then you flopped down way too close to the TV and you turned the dial to the afternoon block. This was appointment television, because if you missed it, it was gone forever. No pausing, no rewinding, no watching it later. You planned your whole afternoon around it. You sat through the commercials you had memorized word for word, and that glow of the TV in a quiet house is a specific 90s feeling nobody can download. Which show got you running to the couch? At some point, you needed your best friend, so you walked to the one phone attached to the kitchen wall, and you dialed a number you knew by heart, and you did not text them. A parent usually answered, and you had to do the terrifying formal thing. Hi, is Kevin there? Then you stretched that curly cord around the corner for privacy, and the whole plan was made in 90 seconds. Whose phone number can you still recite right now, 30 years later? And then the greatest part. You said bye to nobody, and you walked out the door into the entire neighborhood with zero plan and zero supervision. Here is how much that has changed. In the 1970s, kids roamed about a kilometer from home on their own. Today, the average is around 100 meters. You had the whole map. The woods, the creek, the school, the far cul-de-sac, all of it was yours, and nobody knew exactly where you were, and that was completely normal. So how did you find your friends with no phone in your pocket? You knocked. You walked up to a door, rang the bell, and asked a grown-up if their kid could come out. Then you did it at the next house and the next, gathering a whole pack of kids like a tiny door-to-door army. There was no group chat. There was just showing up and hoping they were home. Who was the first door you always knocked on? And your bike was not a toy. Your bike was your car, your escape pod, your whole freedom. You dropped it on its side in a front yard without a second thought, no lock, no helmet, and it was still there an hour later. You knew every jump, every shortcut, every gravel patch that would eat your knee. Standing up on the pedals going way too fast down the big hill was the closest thing to flying you had ever felt. Where did your bike take you? And when you got thirsty, sweaty, and sunburned, and miles from your kitchen, you did not go home for a bottle of water. You found the nearest garden hose, let the hot plastic water run for a second, and drank straight from it. Everybody did. Nobody died. And somehow that warm, rubbery hose water on a summer afternoon is a taste your brain filed away forever. Tell me you drank from the hose too. Then came the games, and there were no refs, no leagues, no parents keeping score. You invented the rules on the spot, argued about them for 20 minutes, made a kid's driveway the home base and a specific tree automatically safe. Ghost in the graveyard, freeze tag, kick the can, or something you made up that has no name. The whole cul-de-sac was the arena, and the game only ended when it got too dark to see the ball. And if you had scraped together some coins, there was a mission: the walk to the corner store. A pocket full of loose change was a fortune, and you could turn it into a paper bag full of penny candy, a soda, and a pack of gum, and still get change back. You walked there yourself, you bought it yourself, and the guy behind the counter knew your face. That specific feeling of small independence, of being trusted with $1 and a mission, is gone. Of course, somewhere in there loomed the dread: homework at the kitchen table. You put it off until the absolute last possible second, until you heard the garage door. You had one shot, a pencil, a paper, and an actual encyclopedia if you were lucky. No looking up the answer in 2 seconds. And the rule was iron: no going back outside and no TV until it was done. We all stared out that window doing long division. And then, the countdown. That electric jolt of panic when you realized what time it was. The house was a disaster, dishes in the sink, your creation still crusted on a plate, and you had roughly 8 minutes to erase all evidence before a parent's car pulled in. You have never in your adult life cleaned as fast as you cleaned a living room at 5:52 p.m. as a kid, trying to look like a responsible child who definitely did their homework. And then there was the only clock that ever mattered: not a watch, not a phone, the streetlights. The rule in every neighborhood in America was the same: be home when the streetlights come on. So you played in that magic blue dusk, pushing it, squeezing out the last few minutes, watching the sky until that first light buzzed and flickered orange. And every kid on that street heard it like a bell, dropped everything, and ran home. You can see it right now, can't you? And that is really what all of this was. For a few hours every single day, you were completely unreachable. Nobody could call you, track you, text you, or find you. You were just a kid somewhere out there, and the world could not reach you until you decided to walk back through that door. Today, the average kid gets about 7 minutes a day of that kind of free, unstructured outdoor time, down roughly half in 20 years. We got hours of it every day, and we did not know we were living in the last generation that would. So that was the afternoon. The key, the empty house, the bikes, the hose, the streetlights calling you home. Every one of those hours was training you for a world that then completely disappeared. That is what this channel is, holding on to the things that made us. So tell me, and I read every single comment, which one of these hit the hardest, and which one did I leave out? And do the thing. Tag the one friend who knocked on your door every single afternoon. If this took you back, subscribe. There is a new one every week.